The rainbow flag snapped like a betrayal in the wind outside Penelope's kitchen window, its garish colors mocking the gray precision of her world. She slammed the donation receipt down on the granite countertop, her heart pounding with a fury she couldn't name. How had her charitable trust, meant for orphanages and veterans, funneled thousands into this? And worse, why did the name on the event flyer, Emily Hargrove, volunteer coordinator, twist like a knife in her gut? In that frozen moment, Penelope realized her daughter, the one she'd raised to be unbreakable, had been hiding a storm of secrets right under her roof. Penelope Hargrove had built her life on straight lines and unyielding resolve, ever since that rainy afternoon in 1998 when she'd buried her husband under a sky that wept without apology. Tom had been her anchor, a quiet engineer from the steel mills of Pittsburgh, and his death from a sudden aneurysm left her with a toddler daughter and a mortgage that bit like frostbite. At 28, she'd clawed her way from grief's abyss into the boardrooms of Chicago's nonprofit sector, where numbers didn't lie and emotions were liabilities. Now, at 45, she was the iron-fisted director of the Hargrove Family Foundation, doling out grants with the precision of a surgeon. Rainbows? They were for children's books and fool's gold, symbols of chaos, of the lifestyle she'd seen unravel families in her conservative Methodist upbringing. She'd whisper prayers against them, those fluttering flags that promised freedom but delivered only fractured homes, like the cousin who'd come out and vanished into a haze of regret. Emily had been her redemption, that wide-eyed girl with Tom's hazel eyes and a laugh like summer fireflies. Penelope poured every ounce of her steel into raising her. Soccer practices in the crisp Illinois autumns, straight-A report cards pinned like medals on the fridge, college applications polished to a gleam. Emily, now 22 and home from her junior year at Northwestern studying environmental policy, was supposed to be the proof that hard work trumped whimsy. But lately, the house felt like a fault line. Emily's late nights, her sudden silences, the way she'd linger over her phone with a secretive smile, they gnawed at Penelope like termites in the walls. That morning, as the coffee brewed bitter and black, Penelope replayed the call from her accountant. A clerical error. Mrs. Hargrove. Your foundation's Community Outreach Fund. It's matched a grant for the Chicago Pride Parade. $10,000. The organizers are thrilled. They say it's the biggest boost yet. Pride Parade. The words curdled in her mouth. She'd seen the news clips. Throngs of glitter-dusted strangers marching down Halsted Street, demanding rights she believed eroded the very fabric of family. And Emily's name attached? It couldn't be coincidence. Penelope's fingers trembled as she dialed her daughter's number, but it went straight to voicemail. We need to talk. Now. By noon, Emily burst through the front door, her backpack slung low and her cheeks flushed from the L train ride. She was a vision of effortless youth, jeans ripped at the knees, a faded band tee from some indie folk concert, her auburn curls tied back in a hasty ponytail that let strands escape like wild thoughts. At 5'6", she had Penelope's athletic build but none of her rigidity. Her movements were fluid, like water finding its way around stones. Mom? You sounded pissed in your message. What's going on? Penelope stood in the living room, arms crossed over her crisp blouse, the flyer clutched in one fist. The room was a shrine to their shared victories. Framed photos of Emily's high school graduation, a shelf of Tom's old mystery novels, the mantel clock ticking like a heartbeat. This, Penelope said, thrusting the paper forward. Emily's eyes widened as she scanned it, the bold rainbow header, the list of sponsors, her own name bolded under, Youth Outreach Lead. It's nothing, Mom. Just a summer gig. Helps with my resume. Emily's voice was steady, but her gaze darted to the floor, tracing the Persian rug's faded patterns. Nothing? $10,000, Emily. My money, our foundation's money, funding. This spectacle. Parades aren't charities, they're propaganda. Penelope's voice cracked, betraying the hurt beneath the anger. She'd always imagined Emily's future as a straight path, a policy job in D.C., maybe a husband like Tom, grandkids to soften her edges. Not this. Emily's laugh was sharp, a shield snapping into place. Propaganda? Mom, it's about people. Real people, like… She stopped, biting her lip, and Penelope's stomach dropped. Like who? The question hung unspoken, heavy as the summer humidity pressing against the windows. That night, sleep evaded Penelope like a thief in the dark. She paced the oak floors of her Lincoln Park brownstone, the city lights flickering through lace curtains like distant fires. Memories flooded her, Tom's gentle hands braiding wildflowers into Emily's hair during their annual Door County vacations, the way he'd hum off-key to lullabies. After his death, Penelope had armored herself against loss, vowing no more vulnerabilities. Rainbows represented that chaos, the unraveling she'd feared when her sister came out in the 90s, only to spiral into addiction and estrangement. It's a choice, her mother had preached back then, Bible in hand. Penelope had nodded, burying her doubts under duty. But Emily? The thought clawed at her. Was this why the distance? The unexplained absences, the locked diary she'd glimpsed once, filled with poetry that ached with unspoken longing. Penelope sank onto the edge of her bed, the quilt Tom's mother had sewn prickling her skin. She pulled out her laptop, fingers hovering over the keys before typing lesbian signs and daughters. The results poured in, subtle shifts in friendships, a sudden interest in women's literature, evasive answers about dating. Each bullet point landed like a stone in her chest. No, she thought, slamming the lid shut. Not my Emily. She'd fix this. Pull the funding, ground her daughter, whatever it took to steer her back. Dawn broke with a vengeance, gray skies threatening rain that mirrored Penelope's mood. Emily was already at the kitchen island, scrolling her phone over a bowl of oatmeal, earbuds in like invisible walls. Penelope cleared her throat. We're revoking the grant. Today. And you're done with this. Organization. Emily yanked out her earbuds, oatmeal spoon clattering. You can't do that, Mom. It's not just money, it's people's lives. My friends. Friends. Penelope leaned in, voice low and lethal. What kind of friends drag you into this? Tell me, Emily. Are you involved? The silence stretched, taut as a bowstring. Emily's hazel eyes, so like Tom's, filled with a storm Penelope had never seen. Involved? God, Mom, you make it sound like a cult. Yes, I'm involved. Because I believe in it. Because. She trailed off, standing abruptly, chair scraping like a scream. You wouldn't understand. Try me. Penelope's plea came out softer than intended, a crack in the facade. Emily hesitated, then whispered, because it saved me. She grabbed her keys and fled, the door slamming like finality. Penelope stood frozen, the echo reverberating through her bones. Saved her? From what? The question propelled her into action. She called the accountant, demanded the reversal, but the wires were already entangled, legal contracts, public announcements. The parade was in 2 weeks. Undoing it would mean lawsuits, scandals. Worse, Emily's face haunted her, that flicker of fear beneath the defiance. Desperate, Penelope drove to Northwestern's campus, the lakefront wind whipping her hair as she wandered the quad. Students lounged under ancient elms, laughing in clusters that blurred genders and boundaries. She spotted a rainbow pin on a backpack and turned away, bile rising. But then, a bulletin board caught her eye, flyers for the Pride Parade, Emily's photos smiling boldly beside a bio. Passionate advocate for queer youth, bridging policy and pride. Queer. The word landed like a slap. Penelope tore down the flyer, crumpling it in her fist, but as she walked back to her SUV, tears blurred the road. What had she missed? The signs were there, Emily's posters of Audre Lorde hidden in her room, the way she'd light up talking about climate marches that doubled as queer rallies. Back home, the empty house amplified her isolation. She poured a rare glass of Merlot, sinking into the leather armchair Tom had loved. Flipping through old photo albums, She traced Emily's growth: gap-toothed grin at 5, awkward braces at 13, radiant in her prom dress at 18, with a date named Alex, a boy from debate club. But the later shots showed cracks. Emily's smile tighter, eyes shadowed. Penelope's chest ached with regret. Had her own prejudices built the walls? She'd never spoken of Tom's sister, the aunt Emily adored until she chose that life and faded away. Family first, Penelope had always said, but whose family? The next day, a package arrived, anonymous, wrapped in plain brown paper. Inside, a leather-bound journal, Emily's handwriting scrawled on the first page. Mom, if you're reading this, I couldn't say it, but I have to. Pages followed, raw and unfiltered, entries from freshman year, confessing her first crush on a roommate named Sophia, the terror of labels, the joy of stolen kisses under campus oaks. I love her, Mom. Not like you think love should be. But it's real. And it terrifies me that you'll hate me for it. Penelope read until her eyes burned, the wine forgotten. Each word peeled back her certainties, revealing a daughter she'd half known. Guilt propelled her to the Foundation's office, a sleek high-rise overlooking the Chicago River. Her assistant, Marcus, a dapper man in his 30s with an impeccable bow tie, raised an eyebrow at her disheveled state. Mrs. Hargrove? You look like you wrestled a ghost. Close enough. She handed him the grant file. Don't reverse it. Double it. His eyes widened. The pride thing? But you said. I was wrong. The admission tasted like ash but freeing. Make it happen quietly. And Marcus. Thank you for always handling my storms. As he nodded, a spark of understanding passed between them, his own rainbow lapel pin glinting subtly. Penelope left the office lighter, but the drive home churned with dread. Confronting Emily meant dismantling her own fortress. Emily returned that evening, wary as a deer in headlights. Dinner was silent, pasta cooling untouched. Finally, Penelope slid the journal across the table. I read it. All of it. Emily's fork froze. And Penelope met her gaze, voice steady despite the quake inside. I'm sorry. For the walls I built. For not seeing you. Tears welled unbidden. I thought I was protecting you. But I was protecting me. Emily's sob broke the dam. They reached across the table, hands clasping like lifelines. I was scared you'd stop loving me, Emily whispered. Never, Penelope vowed, pulling her into an embrace that smelled of lavender shampoo and home. Love isn't straight lines, is it? It's rainbows. Messy, but beautiful. In the weeks that followed, the air in the brownstone shifted, colors seeping in like dawn. Emily brought Sophia home, a lithe artist with ink-stained fingers and a laugh that filled rooms. Penelope watched them from the kitchen, Sophia's hand brushing Emily's as they pored over parade plans, and felt a pang not of loss, but of wonder. Sophia was 21, a graphic design major from Milwaukee, her dark hair cropped short and eyes like polished obsidian. Their romance was tentative, born of late-night study sessions turning into confessions under the glow of laptop screens. She's my safe harbor, Emily confided one evening as they walked the lakefront path, waves lapping like applause. Penelope nodded, swallowing the last of her reservations. Then hold on tight. Storms come, but harbors endure. The Pride Parade loomed, a kaleidoscope of preparation. Emily threw herself into it, coordinating youth workshops on the Foundation's dime, now 20,000 strong. Penelope tagged along to a planning meeting at a cozy cafe on Belmont Avenue, the air thick with coffee and camaraderie. Around the scarred wooden table sat a tapestry of souls, drag queens with towering wigs, elders sharing 70s protest tales, teens clutching handmade signs. Penelope sat stiffly at first, her tailored slacks out of place amid the sequins and slogans. But as stories unfolded, tales of rejection and reclamation, a thaw began. One woman, a silver-haired activist named Carla, gripped her hand. We all start in the dark, honey. Light finds us when we're ready. By meeting's end, Penelope volunteered to MC a segment, her voice, honed from boardroom battles, now laced with humility. Emily's eyes shone with pride, not pity. Parade day dawned electric, June heat shimmering off Michigan Avenue. Chicago pulsed with anticipation, floats bedecked in iridescent streamers, brass bands blaring anthems of defiance and delight. Penelope stood on the sidelines in a simple sundress, her first splash of color in years, watching Emily and Sophia link arms amid the throng. Emily, radiant in a rainbow sash over her festival tee, turned and waved, her face alight with unburdened joy. Sophia leaned in, their kiss brief but fierce, a declaration amid the roar. As the parade surged forward, Penelope's foundation banner unfurled high, Hargrove Family Foundation, proudly supporting all families. Strangers cheered, mistaking her for an old guard ally, but she didn't correct them. When Emily pulled her into the march, Sophia on her other side, the world blurred into a symphony of hues. Drums thundered, petals rained from balconies, and for the first time, rainbows didn't mock, they embraced. But beneath the revelry, shadows stirred. As the procession wound toward Boys Town, a counter-protest erupted, picket signs thrusting like spears, chants of "repent" slicing the air. Penelope's pulse spiked, old fears roaring back. A burly man in a faded polo shoved forward, inches from Emily. "This filth corrupts our kids." Sophia tensed, but Emily stepped up, voice cutting through the din. "Love isn't filth. It's the strongest thing we have." The man sneered, but Penelope, heart hammering, placed herself between them. "Back off," she said, her tone boardroom steel, "or I'll have you arrested for disturbing the peace." The man faltered, crowd murmurs turning hostile. Security waded in, but the encounter lingered like smoke. Later, huddled in a side street cafe, Emily trembled in Penelope's arms. What if they hurt us? What if the world never changes? Penelope stroked her hair, echoing Carla's words. "It changes one heart at a time. Yours. Mine. Even his, someday." Sophia squeezed Emily's hand, their trio a quiet fortress. That night, back home, the adrenaline crashed. Emily and Sophia curled on the couch, heads together over a sketchpad, Sophia doodling parade-inspired murals. Penelope watched from the doorway, a mug of chamomile steaming in her hands. Gratitude swelled, mingled with a fierce protectiveness. She'd unwittingly funded this revolution, but knowingly, she'd join it. Weeks blurred into a new rhythm. Sophia became a fixture, her art studio visits with Emily turning into family dinners where laughter drowned out doubts. Penelope dove deeper, auditing foundation grants for inclusivity, speaking at local churches on bridging divides. Emily thrived, her senior thesis on queer climate activism earning early praise. Yet, the counter-protests echo persisted, a reminder that acceptance was a path, not a destination. One crisp October evening, as leaves carpeted the backyard, Penelope found Emily alone on the porch swing, staring at the stars. "Penny for your thoughts?" she quipped, settling beside her. Emily smiled faintly. "Sophia and I, we're talking future. Moving in together after graduation. But what if it's too soon? What if I mess it up like I almost did with you?" Penelope finished gently. "Love's not about perfection, Em. It's showing up, rainbows and all." Emily leaned her head on Penelope's shoulder. "Thanks to you, Mom. That funding? It didn't just save the parade. It saved us." Penelope's throat tightened. "No. You saved me." As winter approached, snow dusting the city like forgiveness, the Hargrove women forged ahead. Penelope's foundation expanded, a beacon for marginalized voices. Emily and Sophia's bond deepened, a tapestry of shared dreams, protests in spring, quiet nights sketching under quilts. And Penelope? She learned to love the rainbows, not as symbols of strife, but of the spectrum in every soul. In the end, it wasn't the parade that changed everything. It was the woman who, hating the colors, dared to see their light, and found her own. The first frost etched delicate patterns on the brownstone's windows, but inside, warmth bloomed in unexpected corners. Penelope sipped her morning coffee, the steam curling like secrets unveiled as she reviewed the latest foundation reports. The Pride grant had rippled outward, youth mentorship programs funded, a mobile clinic for LGBTQ+ health services launched. Marcus, her assistant, had taken to calling it the rainbow effect, his grin sly over video calls. Penelope allowed herself a small smile. Progress, hard-won but hers. Emily bounded down the stairs, backpack zipped and kiss planted on Penelope's cheek. Heading to the studio with Sophia. We're brainstorming for the winter art fair, queer themes of course. Her tone was light, but Penelope caught the undercurrent. The fair was Emily's brainchild, a platform for emerging artists like Sophia, tied to another foundation microgrant. Proud of you, Penelope said, meaning it. Just text when you get there. Chicago traffic's a beast. Emily rolled her eyes affectionately. Yes, Mom. Eagle eyes engaged. The door clicked shut, leaving Penelope with the quiet hum of the house and a nagging pull in her chest. She'd always been the planner, the protector. But protecting Emily now meant navigating uncharted waters, ones where love wore many faces and threats lurked in plain sight. The counter-protest at Pride had been a wake-up call, a brute reminder that not all hearts thawed easily. News feeds buzzed with rising tensions, bills in Springfield targeting trans rights, whispers of boycotts against woke funders. Penelope's board meetings had turned tense, conservative donors murmuring about alienating core supporters. That afternoon, she met Carla for lunch at a bustling deli on Clark Street, pastrami sandwiches steaming between them. Carla, 62 and unapologetically fabulous in a leopard print scarf, had become an unlikely mentor. You're stirring the pot, Penelope, she said, dabbing mustard from her lip. Good. Pots need stirring. But watch your back. Bigots don't forget. Penelope nodded, fork spearing a pickle. Emily's fair. It's small, but visible. What if it draws heat? Carla's eyes softened. Then you stand with her. Like you did on Halstead. That's the real funding, your presence. Emboldened, Penelope dove into preparations. She co-hosted a workshop at the center, teaching grant writing to queer artists, her voice steady as she shared her accidental ally story. Laughter rippled through the room when she quipped, I thought rainbows were for leprechauns. Turns out, they're for legends like you. Sophia attended, her sketches capturing the energy, bold lines of bodies intertwined, colors defying gravity. Emily and Sophia's relationship unfolded like a slow-blooming rose. Evenings found them in the living room, Sophia's head in Emily's lap as they debated brushstrokes and ballot measures. Penelope observed from afar, heart swelling at their ease. Sophia's teasing nicknames, my policy poet, drawing blushes from Emily, their fingers interlacing absent-mindedly. Yet, vulnerability surfaced. One night, after a heated call with Sophia's conservative parents, still in denial over her face, Sophia crashed on the couch, mascara streaked. It's exhausting, she admitted to Emily, voice muffled in a throw pillow. Penelope, pouring tea in the kitchen, overheard. Pretending for them. Like I'm not enough as is. Emily stroked her hair. You are. To me. To all of us. Penelope joined them, wordless, offering a blanket and a silent solidarity that spoke volumes. As the art fair neared, excitement built like a gathering storm. The venue, a converted warehouse in Pilsen, transformed under volunteer hands, walls splashed with murals, pedestals for sculptures of intertwined forms. Emily's vision was inclusive. Panels on intersectional queerness, live poetry slams, a silent auction seated by the foundation. Penelope handled logistics, her spreadsheet prowess taming chaos, but it was Emily's passion that ignited the space. Opening night arrived under a canopy of stars, the warehouse aglow with string lights and bass-thumping playlists. Crowds swelled, families, activists, curious locals drawn by the buzz. Sophia's centerpiece, a canvas titled Spectrum Embrace, depicted two women dancing amid fracturing prisms, Emily's influence evident in the environmental motifs, vines weaving through rainbows. It sold within hours, the buyer a tearful collector who whispered, "This is my story." Penelope mingled, her sundress swapped for a blazer that felt like armor. Compliments flowed. "Your daughter's a force," but so did undercurrents. A silver-haired donor from the board cornered her near the bar. "Penelope, this is bold. But our veterans program is fully funded," she interjected smoothly. "Diversity strengthens us all, Harold. Try the poetry slam. It might surprise you." Emily found her later, cheeks flushed from emceeing. "Mom, it's magic. Thank you for believing." Penelope hugged her tight. "You made the magic, Em. I just lit the fuse." But midway through, trouble brewed. A group of protesters gathered outside, megaphones blaring scripture, signs decrying moral decay. Security held the line, but tension seeped in like fog. Sophia paled, gripping Emily's hand. "Not again." Penelope squared her shoulders. "Stay inside. I've got this." She stepped out, heart thundering, facing the ringleader, a woman in a cross necklace, eyes narrowed. "This event celebrates love," Penelope called, voice carrying. "The same love your God preaches. Go home. Hate doesn't belong here." Murmurs from the crowd turned the tide. A few protesters slunk away. The woman spat, "You're funding sin." But Penelope held firm.
"No.
I'm funding hope." Back inside, applause met her return. Emily beamed, Sophia mouthing hero. The night soared, slams thundering with resilience, auctions shattering goals. By closing, the fair had raised $15,000, enough for a youth scholarship fund. In the afterglow, Emily and Sophia danced under the warehouse rafters, bodies swaying to a soulful cover of True Colors. Penelope watched, a quiet joy settling. But as confetti rained, Sophia pulled Emily aside, whispering urgently. Penelope caught fragments. "Parents. Ultimatum. Visit." Emily's face fell. "They want to meet us."
As
"Friends." Sophia's laugh was bitter. "Or else they cut me off. Tuition, everything." Penelope approached, sensing the storm. "Whatever it is, we're in it together." That vulnerability forged deeper bonds. The next day, over brunch at a sunny Wicker Park spot, pancakes stacked high, mimosas bubbling, they plotted. "We go," Emily decided. "Show them the truth on our terms." Sophia nodded, fortified. With backup. Her gaze flicked to Penelope, who squeezed her shoulder. "Always." The drive to Milwaukee was a tapestry of nerves and normalcy, radio tunes clashing with small talk, Lake Michigan gleaming silver on the horizon. Sophia's family home loomed in a quiet suburb, manicured lawn, American flag crisp on the porch. Her parents, Greg and Linda, greeted stiffly, handshakes over hugs, eyes appraising. Dinner unfolded in a dining room heavy with pot roast and unspoken rules. Greg, a burly accountant with a crew cut, dominated, tales of Packers games, probes into Sophia's art phase. Linda fluttered, serving seconds with forced smiles. Emily and Penelope played allies, Emily charming with policy anecdotes, Penelope steering to neutral ground. But crack showed. When Sophia mentioned the fair, Greg's fork paused. That event. Heard it caused a stir. Sophia straightened. It celebrated us. Me and Emily. Silence crashed. Linda's wine glass trembled.
us.
Emily took Sophia's hand atop the tablecloth. We're together. In love. Greg's face reddened. This isn't, Sophia. We raised you better. Penelope leaned forward, voice calm as a gavel. Better? You raised a brilliant, compassionate woman. Love doesn't diminish that. Linda's eyes welled. But the church? What will people say? The same things they said about me when my husband died young, Penelope countered. That I was cursed, broken. I learned. Love endures judgment. Greg shoved back his chair. Easy for you to say. This is our daughter. And mine, Penelope said, meeting his glare. Who loves yours? Isn't that worth a chance? The room hung in limbo. Sophia spoke, voice breaking. I won't hide anymore. Cut me off if you must, but don't lose me. Tears traced Linda's cheeks. Greg stormed to the den, door slamming. Hours later, as they packed, Linda slipped Sophia a check for tuition.
And
Visit soon. Both of you. Greg's nod from the hallway was grudging, but present. The drive home was cathartic, windows down, wind whipping confessions. You were fierce, Sophia told Penelope. Like a mama bear in heels. Emily laughed, squeezing her thigh. Our secret weapon. Winter deepened, holidays approaching like a warm hearth. Penelope hosted a solstice gathering. Carla, Marcus, a dozen Foundation allies, mulling cider and exchanging stories under twinkling lights. Emily and Sophia arrived arm in arm, bearing gingerbread rainbows. Toasts rang, to found families, to futures unwritten. Yet intimacy brought its own trials. One blizzard-bound night, Emily confessed to Penelope over hot cocoa. Sophia's scared. About forever, kids, marriage. What if the world stays cruel? Penelope cupped her face. Then we make it kinder. One parade, one dinner at a time. Spring thawed the resolve. Emily's thesis defense loomed. Sophia's senior show beckoned. The Foundation announced a new initiative. Rainbow Bridges, grants for queer-led environmental projects. Penelope keynoted the launch, her words raw. I hated rainbows once, feared their chaos. But they taught me, true strength lies in the bend, not the break. Emily watched from the front row, Sophia's hand in hers, pride mirroring her own. As cherry blossoms dusted Lincoln Park, Emily proposed to Sophia under that same tree from their first campus kiss, a simple band of woven vines, etched with spectrum eternal. Sophia's yes was a vow, tear-streaked and sure. Penelope officiated the small ceremony that summer, lakeside, vows exchanged amid fireflies. In a world of straight lines, she began, voice thick, you chose the arc, may it lead you home, always. The reception pulsed with joy, Carla toasting with bawdy limericks, Marcus DJing anthems. As Emily and Sophia swayed to their first dance, somewhere over the rainbow, reimagined folk style, Penelope slipped away to the shore, waves whispering absolution. She'd funded a parade that changed a life, her daughter's, and in turn, her own. Rainbows weren't hated anymore, they were home. Summer's heat wave clung to Chicago like a lover's sweat, turning the city into a haze of asphalt shimmer and iced coffee runs. Emily and Sophia's honeymoon phase post-proposal was a whirlwind of stolen weekends, picnics in Millennium Park, midnight sketches in Sophia's cramped studio apartment they'd sublet together. Emily, ever the organizer, mapped their future on a shared Google Doc. Grad school applications for her, gallery submissions for Sophia, a joint nonprofit dream blending art and advocacy. Penelope watched it unfold with a mix of vicarious thrill and maternal twinge, their laughter echoing through phone calls, plans laced with we that both warmed and distanced her. But cracks in paradise emerged subtly. Sophia's Milwaukee visit lingered like a bruise. Her parents' check cleared, but emails were sparse, laced with Bible verses on redemption. Emily soothed with pragmatism. Give them time. But nights found Sophia pacing, charcoal smudging her fingers as she sketched fractured figures. What if they never come around? She'd murmur, Emily pulling her close. Then we build our own world. Penelope sensed the strain during a Foundation barbecue at her backyard, grills smoking with veggie burgers and ribs. Allies mingled, Carla grilling queer history trivia, Marcus flirting shamelessly with a poet. Emily and Sophia arrived late, Sophia's smile tight under the string lights. As dusk fell, Penelope pulled her aside by the cherry tree. "Talk to me, kiddo. You're carrying more than sketches." Sophia's laugh was watery. "Just imposter syndrome. Mom thinks art's a hobby. Dad wants me stable. And here I am, betting on rainbows." Penelope plucked a fallen blossom, tucking it behind Sophia's ear. "Stability's overrated. Tom's death taught me that life's a gamble. You and Emily? You're the jackpot." Sophia hugged her fiercely. "You're the best almost mom-in-law." The moment buoyed, but autumn brought tempests. Emily's thesis advisor dropped a bombshell. Funding cuts to her program, forcing a pivot or delay. "It's policy gold." Emily vented over wine that night, Sophia rubbing her back. Queer voices in climate, ironic, how the margins get erased first. Penelope mobilized, leveraging foundation connections for a fellowship bridge. But rejection stung. Too niche. One dean emailed. Fury simmered. Echoes of boardroom biases she'd once echoed. Then, opportunity struck. A national conference on sustainable cities invited Emily as a youth panelist, spotlighting intersectional resilience. Elation surged. Sophia designed her presentation slides, vibrant collages of protest marches and melting ice caps. Penelope funded the travel, whispering at the airport, "Own that stage, Em. They're lucky to have you." The conference in D.C. was electric, halls buzzing with wonks and activists, panels dissecting equity under floodlights. Emily shone, her talk, Pride in the Tides, Queer Strategies for Climate Survival, drawing standing ovations. Sophia live-sketched from the audience, capturing Emily's fire. But backstage, a reporter cornered her. "Hargrove Foundation ties. Does your mom's money buy your voice?" Emily's retort was ice. "It amplifies it." Next question. Back in Chicago, buzz built, offers for podcasts, invites to TEDx-style events. Yet the barb festered. "Am I just the token?" Emily confided to Penelope during a rare girls' night. Monty Petus at a Wicker Park salon, nails painted in subtle pastels. "No," Penelope said, filing her own to a neat square. "You're the spark. I learned that the hard way, funding's just fuel." Sophia's senior show loomed parallel, a high-wire act. Her thesis, Chromatic Confessions, installations exploring queer identity through color theory. The gallery crawl in the West Loop drew crowds, critics in black turtlenecks, collectors with checkbooks. Penelope and Emily front-rowed the opening, the space transformed, walls pulsing with projections of rainbow fractals, sculptures of mirrored shards reflecting viewers' faces. Sophia's vulnerability shone in a centerpiece video, her and Emily's hands weaving thread into a tapestry, voices overlaying confessions. "I feared the fade. You colored my gray." Tears flowed, sales followed. A major curator approached. "This has MoMA potential." But triumph soured when Sophia's parents arrived unannounced, Linda clutching a bouquet like a truce flag, Greg stoic in khakis. "Saw the review in the paper," Linda said, voice quavering. "Thought we'd support." Sophia froze amid the throng, Emily's hand steadying her. Penelope hung back, sentinel. The tour was awkward, praise mumbled over abstract pieces, but Linda lingered at the video, eyes glistening. "That's beautiful." "You." Greg cleared his throat. "Proud, kid. Even if different." It wasn't absolution, but a step. Hugs exchanged, stiff, then softening. As they left, Sophia collapsed into Emily, sobs of release. They came. Penelope enveloped them both. Progress pained slow. Winter holidays tested the thaw. Sophia's family hosted, a tense détente. Penelope tagged along as +1, her presence a buffer. The table groaned with lutefisk and ham, conversations skirting edges. Politics dodged, stories shared. When Greg raised a toast to family, his glance at Emily held less frost. New Year's brought renewal. Emily landed the fellowship, full ride, DC-bound post-grad. Sophia's MoMA whisper became a residency offer in Brooklyn. Separate cities? Emily fretted over packing boxes, the brownstone half empty. Temporary, Sophia promised, sealing a sketch of their entwined futures. Love bridges miles. Penelope helped load the U-Haul. Throat tight. Chicago'll miss you both. But doors open, walk through. Their goodbye brunch was bittersweet. Mimosas at the old cafe, promises of visits. As they drove east, Emily's text pinged. Spectrum strong. Love you, Mom. Spring bloomed solo for Penelope, the house echoing. She channeled it into work. Rainbow Bridges expanded, partnering with queer-led orgs nationwide. A speaking tour followed, churches, campuses, her story resonating. From hater to holder, one flag at a time. One lecture, at a small college in Ohio, a student approached postdoc, a shy freshman with Emily's hazel eyes. My mom's like you were. How do I? Penelope handed her a card. Start with listening. The rest follows. Back home, Carla hosted a welcome dinner. Potluck of allies, laughter loud. Marcus arrived with a date, a barista with tattooed rainbows. As plates cleared, Penelope raised her glass. To the bends that break us open. Summer circled back, anniversary marking Emily and Sophia's union. They flew in, rings glinting, simple gold bands engraved with arcs. The lakefront vow renewal was intimate, waves as witnesses, Carla officiating with flair. In arcs and allies you thrive. Dancing under stars, Emily pulled Penelope aside. That parade? It wasn't just funding. It was fate. Penelope smiled, tears salting the breeze. Fate's got colors I never knew. As fireflies danced, Penelope glimpsed the full spectrum. Lost to love, hate to harmony. Her unknowing gift had woven a life, vibrant, unbreaking. The Brooklyn residency thrust Sophia into a vortex of creation and chaos, her tiny loft in Bushwick a riot of canvases and coffee stains. Emily's DC fellowship mirrored it. Days blurred in think tanks, nights FaceTiming across states, their love a digital tether fraying at edges. Miss your chaos. Emily texted one midnight, Sophia replying with a selfie. Paint-smeared grin. Chaos misses you more. Penelope bridged the gap with care packages, Midwestern treats for Sophia, policy journals for Emily, and monthly flights home. The brownstone a revolving sanctuary. But distance amplified doubts. Sophia's calls grew laced with exhaustion. Critics love the work, but it's lonely. Like I'm performing queerness for straight eyes. Emily echoed in confessions. DC's a machine, queer voices tokenized, then shelved. Am I selling out? Penelope counseled over video dinners, her face pixelated but presence solid. Authenticity's your armor. Wear it loud. Yet, storms brewed beyond. National headlines screamed, a Supreme Court ripple on marriage rights, emboldening local bigots. Chicago's air thickened with protests, anti-LGBTQ+ rallies at City Hall, flyers decrying groomer funders. Penelope's foundation became a target, anonymous emails flooded, blood money for perversion. Board pressure mounted. Harold, the old guard, cornered her in the high-rise lobby. Pull the rainbow strings, Penelope. Donors are fleeing. She met his gaze, unflinching. Then let them. True support endures. The backlash peaked at a gala fundraiser, black ties and ball gowns in the Palmer House ballroom, chandeliers dripping light. Penelope keynote, voice soaring. We've funded bridges, not walls. And in this divided time, that's our defiance. Applause thundered, but whispers followed. A donor storming out, check and signed. Emily visiting for the event, overheard in the powder room. Mom, you okay? Penelope adjusted her pearls, masking the sting. Sticks and stones, Em. We build anyway. Sophia arrived the next day, her residency yielding a breakthrough exhibit. Arc adversaries, installations challenging erasure, mirrors shattering into prisms, audio loops of protest chants. The opening drew raves, but a viral troll thread twisted it. Foundation-funded propaganda. Threats trickled in. Ugly voicemails, doxed addresses. Sophia cracked during a late-night call, Emily on speaker with Penelope listening. What if we can't win? If love's just a target? Emily's voice steadied. Then we aim back. Together. Penelope chimed, I've got security on the foundation. And lawyers. Fight smart, not scared. Solidarity surged. Emily organized a virtual panel. Art against assault, Sophia moderating, Penelope sponsoring. Voices united. Trans poets by activists, elders who'd marched Stonewall. Viewership soared. Donations doubled. But personal tides turned. Sophia's parents, thawing slowly, invited the couples for a Wisconsin cabin getaway. Neutral ground. Autumn leaves aflame. Penelope declined politely. Your time, but Emily insisted. Family fusion, mom style. The cabin nestled by a glassy lake, wood smoke curling from the chimney. Linda fussed over pies. Greg tinkered with a canoe. Dinners danced edges. Faith debates diffused by Emily's humor. Art talks bridging gaps. One evening, fireside, Sophia unveiled sketches. Portraits of Greg as a young dreamer. Linda's hands kneading dough. Seeing you helped me see me. Linda wept, hugging tight. Greg grunted approval. Good work, Soph. The breakthrough came at dawn. Greg joining Sophia for a row. Waters lapping confessions. Scared for you, kid. World's rough. Sophia rode steady.
It is.
But loves the oar. Back in cities, momentum built. Emily's panel birthed a policy brief, influencing a DC bill on inclusive disaster relief. Sophia's exhibit toured. First stop, Chicago's Block Museum, Penelope curating a tie-in workshop. The opening night was triumphant, crowds weaving through arch adversaries, whispers turning to awe. Yet a shadow loomed. Harold resigned from the board, citing misalignment, poaching donors. Penelope faced the vacuum alone, audits piling as finances teetered. We adapt, she told Marcus, slashing her salary first. Emily sensed it during Thanksgiving, home for turkey and truths. Mom, the foundation's bleeding. Penelope waved it off over pie. Wounds heal. But Sophia, perceptive, cornered her post-meal. Let us help. Crowdfund? Art auction. The idea sparked. They launched Spectrum Sustain, a hybrid event. Sophia's originals auctioned, Emily hosting virtual bids, Penelope narrating the mission. Allies rallied. Carla emceeing, celebrities tweeting support. Bids flew, $50K raised in hours, stabilizing the ship. Winter solstice brought reflection. Emily and Sophia, states bridged by Amtrak, surprised Penelope with a weekend in Door County, their childhood haven, now reclaimed. Cabins creaked under snow, bonfires crackling stories. Emily gifted a journal. Mom's Arcs, Letters to the Future. Sophia added a sketch. Penelope amid rainbows, fierce and free. Tears froze on cheeks. You too. My greatest grant. Spring unfurled with vindication. The foundation rebounded, new donors, queer philanthropists, corporate allies filling voids. Emily's brief past subcommittee, Sophia's tour hit DC, exhibit syncing with Emily's work. Anniversary month, they reunited in Chicago, vows renewed lakeside, Penelope toasting, to arcs that align. As petals fell, Penelope walked alone, wind whispering. The parade's echo, Lev's forever changed. The cusp of summer hummed with promise, Chicago's jazz fests spilling saxophone wails into steamy streets. Emily and Sophia's long-distance dance had evolved into a harmonious rhythm, bi-coastal visits, collaborative projects blooming like lake lotuses. Emily's DC role expanded, leading a queer climate coalition, her voice echoing in Senate hearings. Sophia's residency morphed into a full fellowship, her Brooklyn loft a hub for artist collectives, murals adorning brownstones with defiant hues. Penelope's world steadied, the foundation a phoenix of progress. Rainbow bridges now spanned coasts, funding solar arrays in trans shelters, art therapy for queer youth. But scars lingered. Harold's faction splintered into a rival nonprofit, sniping in trade rags. Hargrove's Rainbow Roulette risks all. Penelope shrugged it off publicly, but privately, doubt nibbled. A quiet dinner with Carla at a dim jazz club, sax low, bourbon smooth drew it out. Am I naive, Carl? Thinking money mends hearts. Carla swirled her drink, eyes twinkling. Naive? Honey, you're revolutionary. Hearts bend slow, but they bend. Emboldened, Penelope greenlit a bold venture. A national pride tour, pop-up grants dispersed live at festivals. Emily headlined the kickoff in D.C., Sophia designing the booth, interactive prisms where visitors etched hopes. Cast your color, it was dubbed, shards of light spelling unity. The tour ignited, Atlanta's heat wave cooled by ice grants for heat-vulnerable queer elders, San Francisco's fog pierced by funding for homeless trans programs. Media lapped it, CNN profiles, podcasts probing Penelope's pivot, from skeptic to sponsor. But glory gilded thorns. In Austin, a far-right podcaster ambushed the booth, mic thrust like a blade. Hargrove Cash, Satan's Spectrum? Emily parried coolly. Love's no devil. Ignorance is. Viral clips polarized, supporters surged, trolls swarmed. Sophia's DMs filled with vitriol. Fake artist, real fraud. She armored with art, channeling rage into a series. Troll threads, woven tapestries of hate mail turned floral. Penelope flew in for damage control, hugging them tight in a hotel suite overlooking the Capitol. You're warriors. This noise? White static. Emily's eyes, weary, met hers. But it's exhausting, Mom. Fighting for scraps. Sophia nodded, sketching idly. Yeah. When does the wind feel one? Penelope's answer came in action, a legal fund seeded from tour proceeds, suing for defamation. Wins stacked, retractions, settlements funneled back to causes. Personal tides ebbed too. Sophia's parents, warming, proposed a family reunion, Thanksgiving in Milwaukee, all-inclusive. Emily hesitated. Last time was progress, not perfection. Sophia yearned. One more try. For the arc. Penelope mediated over brunch, pancakes, and plans.
Go.
But boundaries, like brushstrokes, bold lines. The gathering unfolded in layers. Linda's kitchen a whirlwind of yams and yields, Greg's garage a sanctuary for Sophia's man talk, canoes to canvases. Emily charmed with tales of DC daring do, Penelope absent but present via text pep talks. Breakthrough brewed over pie. Linda, voice soft. We've joined PFLAG. Learning. Greg rumbled. World's changing. Us too. Sophia's tears were cathartic. Welcome to the rainbow. Winter wove tighter bonds. Emily and Sophia, synced schedules rare, escaped to a Vermont cabin, snowed in idyll of cocoa and canvases. Emily proposed expanding their nonprofit dream. ARC Alliance, art policy hybrid for queer resilience. Penelope seeded it with a starter grant, board unanimous. Spring's thaw mirrored internal melts. Emily testified before Congress, live-streamed, suit sharp, word sharper. Climate justice is queer justice. Erase us and the planet pays. Applause virtual and visceral, bill amendments born. Sophia's troll threads debuted at MoMA, soldiering solo to NYC, Emily cheering via Zoom. Critics hailed, a tapestry of triumph over toxicity. Penelope attended the after-party remotely, toasting through screen. My girls, weaving wonders. But equilibrium quaked. A foundation audit uncovered discrepancies, Harold's ghost, embezzlement whispers. Investigators swarmed, headlines howled. Rainbow riches robbed? Panic gripped. Penelope faced the board, voice steel. Transparency's our creed. We'll audit deeper, emerge stronger. Emily and Sophia rallied, dropping everything for Chicago. Crisis huddles in the brownstone. Lawyers parsing ledgers, PR spinning truth. Sleepless nights yielded suspects, a rogue accountant, ties to Harold's camp. The bust came swift. Arrest, restitution ordered. Penelope's presser was poised. Betrayal stings, but our mission stands. Rainbows don't fade. Relief washed, but reflection lingered. Over recovery dinner, takeout tie, candles flickering, Emily voiced the unspoken. Mom, this almost broke us. Sophia added, but it bent us toward each other. Penelope raised her glass. To unbreakable arcs. Summer solstice circled. Tour concluding in Chicago. Full circle to that fateful pride. The pop-up sprawled Grant Park. Prisms towering. Grants granted amid fireworks. Emily and Sophia emceed, hands linked, announcing ARC Alliance's launch. $100K seed from tour halls. Crowds swelled, rainbows real and metaphorical. A young fan approached Emily. You changed my coming out. Thank you. As night fell, Penelope joined the stage, mic in hand. 2 years ago, I funded a parade unwittingly. Today, knowingly, I fund futures. Because love, messy, multicolored, changes everything. Cheers erupted, Emily hugging her mid-speech. Sophia snapped a photo. 3 women, arms entwined, city lights haloing. Later, lakeside walk, waves lapping legacies. The parade was the spark, Emily said. You fan the flame. Penelope smiled into the dark.
No.
You lit the world. Autumn's palette painted Chicago in golds and crimsons, leaves crunching underfoot like whispered secrets. ARC Alliance took root, Emily and Sophia splitting time between coasts, DC policy pushes, Brooklyn artist incubators, Chicago as nerve center in Penelope's guest suite. The hybrid hummed, grants for murals on flood barriers, workshops blending advocacy and aesthetics. Penelope chaired the advisory board, her experience the keel. But growth invited growing pains. A major donor, a tech mogul with queer kid, pledged millions, contingent on metrics. Emily chafed. Art isn't quantifiable. Souls are. Sophia echoed in board calls. If we chase numbers, we lose nuance. Penelope mediated, forging a compromise. Impact stories over spreadsheets. The mogul signed, funds flowing for a pilot in New Orleans, post-hurricane rebuilds with queer-led designs. Personal currents swirled too. Emily's 30th loomed. Wait, no. 23rd, time's blur and bustle. Sophia planned a surprise. Hot air balloon over Virginia's Shenandoah, dawn painting skies in pastels. To new heights, she toasted midair, ring glinting. Emily's gift, a tattoo, subtle arc on her wrist matching Sophia's. Our bend. Penelope hosted the party back home, rooftop bash, skyline twinkling. Carla regaled with toasts. To the lesbians who looped in a straight-lace mom. Laughter roared, Penelope blushing but beaming. Winter's grip tightened resolve. ARC Alliance's first gala, opulent in the Art Institute, Monet's as backdrop, drew A-listers. Emily's keynote soared. Arcs aren't detours, they're designs. Bids shattered records, but a heckler disrupted, boardroom fossil, slurring woke waste. Sophia shut it down, mic snatched. Waste? Try wonder. Security escorted. Applause reclaimed the night. Post-glow, Emily confided doubts. Imposter echoes. Am I enough for this? Penelope over late-night cocoa. Enough? You're endless. Sophia's parents evolved. Linda volunteering at PFLAG, Greg displaying a subtle rainbow sticker on his truck. A joint holiday visit sealed it. Christmas in Milwaukee, trees trimmed in pride ornaments. Greg carved the ham, gruff grace. To family, full spectrum. Spring bloomed collaborations. Emily partnered with a trans engineer for resilient housing prototypes. Sophia illustrated the blueprints, colors coding community. A TED Talk invite followed, joint art and policy, painting change. Rehearsals in the brownstone were magic. Emily's passion, Sophia's poetry, Penelope critiquing with love. On the pause, she'd say, timing beats. The talk in Vancouver, virtual for Penelope, went viral, millions viewed, invites cascading. But backlash bit. Conservative outlets twisted clips. Hargrove airs hijack discourse. Trolls targeted deeper. Sophia's old addresses leaked. Emily's fellowship threatened. Fear flickered. Pause the tour. Emily proposed. Sophia resisted. No. Visibility's our weapon. Penelope fortified. Enhanced security. Crisis PR. We don't hide. We highlight. Summer's heat forged steel. Arc Alliance expanded to LA. Earthquake retrofits with queer art facades. Groundbreaking ceremony. Sledgehammers swung. Murals unveiled. Local news lauded, but a protest fringe chanted slurs. Emily addressed them, megaphone in hand. Hate builds nothing. We build homes. Sophia live painted the moment, canvas capturing defiance. Back east, personal milestones mounted. Emily's book deal, memoir policy blend, arcs of alliance. Sophia's solo exhibit in Paris, global bends, rainbows refracted through cultures. Penelope jetted for the opening, Eiffel Tower aglow. Seine-side dinner, escargot and epiphanies. You too globetrotting? Proud doesn't cover it. Emily grinned. Your funding launched us. Falls circled, crises averted. A donor scandal rocked peers, embezzlement echo, but Arc Alliance's audits shone clean, trust deepened. Thanksgiving gathered all. Milwaukee melting pot, tables groaning unity. Linda's pie, Greg's tales, Sophia's sketches framing the feast. Winter whispered weddings. Emily and Sophia, legal ties pending, planned a vow expansion, destination inclusive. Bahamas? Sophia dreamed. Penelope offered. Foundation jet. My gift. But hurdles humped. Sophia's visa snags for international gigs, Emily's sabbatical denied. Bureaucracy bid. They battled. Lawyers, letters, lobbyists. Victory tasted sweet. Approval stamped. Spring ceremony on Bahamian sands. Turquoise waves. Tiki torches. Guests sparse but soulful. Carla in kaftan. Marcus toasting mischief. Vows vowed. In Ben's and beyond. Penelope's words. You funded my heart's parade. Reception danced into dawn. Conch shells calling change. Back home, Penelope reflected alone, journal filling. The unknowing gift, life's grand arc. The meridian of their journey crested with quiet intensity, years folding like origami into a shape of sustenance. Arc Alliance had metastasized into a movement. Satellites in 10 cities, budgets ballooning, impact metrics nuanced now, charting lives lifted, shelters built, artists housed, policies penned. Emily, at 25, helmed DC operations, her office a warren of white bards scrawled with equity equations. Sophia, 24, curated Brooklyn's creative core, her studio a commune where paint and protest mingled. Penelope, nearing 50, evolved from funder to figurehead, keynotes at Davos, profiles in the Atlantic, the reluctant rainbow. Her brownstone, once echoey, hosted rotating residents, fellows crashing on the couch, strategy sessions spilling into dawn. But zeniths summoned shadows. A global pandemic loomed, whispers. Early 2020, coughs in China turning to quarantines. Arc Alliance pivoted swift. Virtual grants, digital murals projected on shuttered storefronts. Arcs in isolation, Sophia titled her series, windows glowing with virtual embraces. Emily lobbied remotely. Pandemic parity for queer communities, testing, vaccines first. Wins were Pyrrhic, supplies stockpiled, but distribution lagged. Penelope's foundation funneled millions, but cracks cracked wider, staff burnout, donor fatigue. A virtual board meeting erupted, younger members pushing abolition of police ties and grants, elders clinging to neutrality. "You're diluting the mission," a veteran barked. Emily, guest-logged, interjected. "Neutrality's complicity. We center the marginalized." Penelope mediated, voice virtual but visceral. "We evolve. Or we erode." Resolution: phased reforms, training mandates. Tension simmered, but trust held. Personal pandemics paralleled. Sophia's parents, vaccinated early via connections, weathered isolation with Zoom family nights, Greg's bad jokes, Linda's virtual baking. But a health scare hit. Greg's heart murmur, surgery delayed. Sophia flew home, Emily tagging, Penelope wiring funds for top care. Hospital vigils were masked, muffled, beeps and barriers. "He's tough," Sophia whispered, gloved hand in Emily's. Post-op, Greg rallied, bedside gruff. "Oh, you girls. For pushing me softer." Recovery rehabbed relations, weekly walks, talks turning tender. Emily's book launched amid lockdowns, Arcs of Alliance, Love, Policy, and the Fight for Tomorrow. Virtual tour sold out, but reviews polarized, praise for passion, pans for preachy privilege. A scathing op-ed stung. Hargrove Ayres' rainbow revisionism ignores real struggle. Emily spiraled, drafting retorts deleted. Sophia soothed with sketches. Emily as Phoenix, flames forming flags. Penelope called. Words wound. But yours heal. Publish the response. The essay, Privilege as Platform, went viral, nuance over defensiveness, inviting dialogue. Invites followed. Oprah's book club nod, White House roundtable. Sophia's Paris exhibit, postponed then pivoted online, drew global eyes, VR tours of global Benz. A French collector commissioned, queer icons reimagined in Louvre styles. But isolation isolated. Long distance strained anew, Zoom dates devolving to yawns, touches missed. "We need real," Emily sighed during a rare in-person weekend, Chicago quarantine compliant. Sophia nodded. "Bubble here? Your mom's place, sanctuary." Penelope cleared space, stocking masks and meals. The month was medicine, collaborative cookbook, arc appetites, recipes from roots. Mornings co-writing, afternoons painting policies on canvas. One evening, fireside, Emily proposed expansion. Kids?
Someday.
Surrogacy, adoption, queer family full circle. Sophia's eyes lit.
Yes.
With you? Infinite. Penelope, eavesdropping from kitchen, smiled secret, her journal noting. Grand arcs await. Spring's vaccines unlocked worlds. Arc Alliance hosted hybrid summits, masks optional, hugs hazardous but happening. Penelope's keynote. Pandemics proved it. Resilience is relational. Summer's vaccines vaccinated hopes. Emily and Sophia, boosted, honeymooned belated, Greece, Isles of Azure arcs. Penelope gifted the tickets, note. Bend toward bliss. Fall's foliage framed family. Greg's full recovery prompted a Wisconsin wedding vow for the parents, small, lakeside, Arc Alliance catering with pride pies. Winter wrapped with wonder. Emily's pregnancy pursuit began, IVF consultations, donor hunts. Our design, she texted Penelope, ultrasound wand waving promise. Sophia illustrated the journey, womb as world, rainbows cradling. 2021 dawned defiant. Arc Alliance's pandemic pivot permanenced, telehealth grants, virtual reality therapy. Emily testified hybrid, equity or extinction. Sophia's VR exhibit won awards, Webby for innovation. Penelope, honored at a gala, masks mandated, tiered accepting, from hating hues to hugging them, thank you. Personal pinnacle. Emily's positive test. Twins en route. Your grandbabies, she called, ecstatic. Penelope hooped, then wept. The ultimate funding. Spring's bloom brought baby prep. Nursery murals by Sophia. Policy briefs on parental leave by Emily. Penelope hosted showers. Rainbow themes. Gifts galore. Summer birth joy. Twins arrived July 4th. Fireworks external. Kai and Luna. Hazel-eyed miracles. Arcs incarnate. Hospital haze. Penelope holding tiny fists, whispering, "Welcome to the spectrum." Fall's first family photo. 5 generations bent. Greg cradling Kai, Linda Luna, Sophia sketching, Emily advocating from rocker. Winter's holidays haloed home. Brownstone bursting. Carols queered. As snow fell, Penelope journaled finale. The parade's unwitting seed, harvesting a harvest of hearts. Rainbows, once reviled, now relatives, eternal, embracing. In the tapestry's final weave, time's softened edges, years a gentle current carrying the Hargrove arcs forward. Kai and Luna toddled through the brownstone's halls, chubby hands smearing fingerpaint rainbows on walls. Sophia encouraged, "Art's meant to mark." Emily balanced boardrooms and bedtime stories, her book a bestseller spawning sequels, arcs for all ages, policy primers for parents. Sophia's studio expanded to a Bushwick warehouse, mentoring young queer creators, her troll threads, now museum staples symbolizing digital defiance. Penelope, at 55, stepped back from the foundation's helm, naming Emily co-director, a baton passed in a lakeside ceremony. "You funded my awakening," Emily said, tears tracing. "Now we fund the world." The nonprofit thrived global now. Chapters in Toronto, Sydney, Sao Paulo, bridges bending borders. Greg and Linda, fully folded in, hosted annual Spectrum suppers, tables groaning with generational grace. Challenges came, as arcs demand, a 2025 climate crisis, hurricanes hammering coasts, tested metal. Arc Alliance mobilized, emergency grants for queer evacuations, art installations as resilience memorials. Emily led from D.C., Sophia sketched solidarity murals on FEMA tents. Penelope, retired but restless, volunteered on site, old hands for new homes. Holding a trans elder's hand amid rubble, she echoed her old self. "I once hated the colors. Now they're my compass." Personal passages marked milestones. Kai's first crush on a classmate, gender fluid, prompted Emily's gentle guide. "Love's a spectrum, kiddo. Yours, whatever shade, shines." Luna's drawings echoed Sophia. Bold bends, unspoken stories. Weddings wove kin. Marcus's commitment ceremony, Carla's memoir launch. Out and outrageous. Penelope's 70th. Wait, no. Reflections accelerated. Gathered all. Door county cabin. Fireflies familiars. Toasts toasted trajectories. From one parade to a lifetime. As elders, Emily and Sophia reflected in Paris. Eiffel arcs aglow. That funding, Emily mused, unknowing key to us. Sophia smiled. To her, the woman who learned to love the light. Penelope, homeward, walked the lakefront alone, waves waving wisdom. The rainbow she'd hated? It had funded not just a parade, but a progeny of possibility. Daughters, grandbabies, a legacy laced with love's full hue. In quiet, she whispered thanks. To Tom, to Emily's secrets unveiled, to the flag that fluttered fate. Life's parade marched on, colorful, chaotic, cherished. And in every bend, beauty bloomed.